Okay, Putin's invasion of Ukraine is going terribly for everybody. And with that in mind, he had a big rally in Russia today to gin up support. He said a lot of what he said before. I'm curious, though, what was his body? What was the hidden language here? Did we see anything? Did we learn anything? Perhaps through nonverbal cues. We'd like to bring in one of our favorites, Scott Rouse. He is the body language expert and analyst and author of Understanding Body Language, How to Decode Nonverbal Communication in Life, Love, and Work. He's fabulous at this kind of stuff. Scott, welcome back. How are you?
I'm great, Greg. How are you doing?
Terrific. Let's get right to it. By the way, he was dressed unusually for a dictator, but let's go ahead and listen to this as he comes out and starts talking.
All right.
В которой Крым и Севастополь были погружены, когда находились в составе другого государства, и которое финансировало эти территории по так называемому остаточному принципу. Но в которой Крым и Севастополь были погружены, когда находились в составе другого государства.
I'm not exactly sure what he's saying, but what is he saying with his body and with his hands?
Well, this is a completely different person than we saw the last time you and I talked. In this situation, he's talking a lot faster than he's talked before, than we've ever seen him talk before. He's kind of swinging for the fences with the points he's making. He's trying to come on with a lot of energy, a little Trump-esque. Yeah, I get the feeling he's sort of mimicking the success of Trump and his ability to persuade crowds by giving it his own shot here. That's what it looks like to me.
All right, so when he speaks fast, does that mean he's nervous? Does that mean what?
Well, he's trying to get a specific point across, and he's thought about what he's going to say. These are rehearsed because I don't see him reading from anything. And so as he goes through this, if you'll notice, his hand is close to his chest. All these things tell us that he's a little bit nervous, as he should be at this point, because this is new for him, this type of thing. So when we see the hand brought up like this, and we see the wrist exposed like that, and the hands clenched, those are adapters, and that lets us know that he's stressed. And that's the way people get rid of that built-up stress or tension.
All right, I wasn't expecting him to quote the Bible, but he did. And let's listen to that and watch.
Больше любви, как если бы кто-то отдал душу свою за друзей своих. Нет больше любви, как если бы кто-то
All right,
отдал
so
душу свою.
again, sorry, we don't have the translator, but he says, he's quoting John 13:15. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. I'm no Putin expert. I've never heard him quote the Bible before, but what he said and how he said it, what do you think?
This is new as well, because what he's in his translation, where he's supposed to say life, he actually says soul. That a man lay down his soul for his friends, where it should be life. However, that is the Greek translation does say soul, so it's okay to do that, but it's not quoting from the most popular Bible, which is the Living English, the English Living Bible. I believe that's what it's called in Russia. So this has been set up completely. They've said, here's how we. But the scary thing about this is he talks about cleansing right before that. He talks about the cleansing that needs to happen. Then he brings in religion. And when you get someone who talks about cleansing, and you bring in religion, I think we've heard those types of setups before, years and years ago, for any history buffs.
Joe Biden this week was, iffy, hesitant, and even more so right after he signed the aid package for Russia. Take a look at this. I'm sorry, for Ukraine.
And I'm going to walk over and sign this legislation, sign this bill to allow the drawdown of those materials. And may God protect their young Ukrainians who are out there defending their country.
All right. So far, he's obviously no dynamo. What's happening?
Yeah. Well, at this point, at the end of that's called fading facts. As you can hear, as he's talking, he gets quieter and quieter as he goes along. And he's talking about, God bless the Ukraine people. So I'm not sure if that would indicate he's not really that into that, or he's over the whole thing at this point. So he sounds like he's run out of steam there, because he doesn't have the the want or the excitement to sell that phrase or to make that work.
All
then
right.
he says, then at that point he says, I'm going to walk over here, and he tells you what he's going to do. He says, I'm going to walk over here and do this. You usually don't hear people say that, especially in a position of power like that. They
Yeah.
just do it.
Like almost like he's asking for permission or, coordinating when he doesn't have to. Coordinating with our allies. All right. So I want to show you the phone call, a picture from this morning. He's on the phone with Xi, President Xi. Let's take this full, if you don't mind, because there are a couple of things going on here that are strange. Number one, that does not look like a television picture of Xi. That looks like a weird painting on the wall. Joe's not looking at him. I guess he's looking at another monitor. He looks, here's what I think. He knows his picture is being taken. That's what I think. I think he's posing. But what's happening here, sir?
Exactly. It's not often you see someone sitting perfectly like that, the way they should be, and paying attention with the expressions he has on his face. His hands are right up against the computer-looking thing there on his desk, and they're all perfect there. He's set up to look as if everything is perfect for a leader in a leading position as an alpha, and everything on his desk, if you look around, you see everything is in its place. This is completely set up, and that's just been photoshopped in there. That picture back there, that would be, I think most Photoshop, those who are good at it would go, oh man, it's been photoshopped because it has a look to it. I can't explain that look, but that's what that is. But that look on his face even is a setup. You don't keep that look, that expression on your face for that long. That's that intense.
That's weird, man. That is really weird that they would be going to this length to portray him as something he is not. Bottom line, it seems like we're in trouble with this guy. Am I wrong?
I would say it looks a little iffy.
Iffy.
At this point.
Okay. Mr. Rouse, Scott Rouse, we appreciate it once again. Body language expert. Check out his book, Understanding Body Language, How to Decode Nonverbal Communication in Life, Love, and Work. We thank you very much, and we will be right back.